Hey, look out. It's Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
Dan, I don't know why on vacation she still wants to be on the show. She obviously didn't pray about this at all.
Apparently it's raining outside or something, and so she has nothing better to do.
I just like hanging out with you guys. So.
She is the rock star, Katlyn Moncrief Bryan, co-host of The Christian View. Not only that, listen to this. I think we have about 30 minutes, so here we go. Speaker, author, ×2, Christian life coach, former beauty queen, wife, and soon-to-be mother.
Yes.
Hey, just don't overdo it, okay? I don't want you having a baby.
I'm sitting right now, so we're all good, and I'm not even half away from the due date, so we're all good.
Wow.
Yeah, wife had our first one 30 some years ago. I always thought, because I watched a lot of television as a kid, I thought she'd wake me up in the middle of the night and say, okay, it's time. But I was actually at work, and it just threw me off. I'm like, well, it's not supposed to happen like this.
This is not in the middle of the night. We're not rushing out the door. This is not what it was supposed to be.
But so just be calm. So
hey, nobody, I would freak out if it was time. I'm not even ready. So
well, you're on vacation. Of course you're not ready.
Exactly.
Katlyn and her husband Jeremy pastor church, an amazing church, and I don't know if they can what they do without you. Were you gone yesterday or?
No, we were dedicated. We stayed and then we left after church.
What a great family you are.
I remember those days. All right, let's talk about this. 7 years ago. Was it 7 years ago you met Jeremy? What was it that he said that closed the deal for you?
Yes. So 7 years ago yesterday, he proposed, which honestly, the first time I met him, I thought he was so handsome. And I walked in, this was when Facebook had just started. Wow. I saw him in our dorm room and I was like, hey, my name's Katlyn. I was like, what's your name? And he's like, I'm Jeremy. I was like, what's your last name? Because I want to add you as friend on Facebook. And he was like, I don't think we're ready for that level yet.
Wow.
And then, yes,
rejected.
I know, right? But then I got his last name, so it all worked out. Yeah. But 7 years ago, he proposed to me, and actually, he did it really sneaky. He set up our first date, and then he put, will you marry me, on the beach in candles. Oh, and wow. He said, what does it say? And I said, it says, will you marry me? I was freaking out and crying. And he said, yes, I'll marry you. So technically he set it up. So I proposed to him and then it would all be a flawless execution.
Wow.
Now, what would he say was the closer for you?
Well, I mean, he's just so good looking, so sweet. And he is anointed. And for me, the big closer was that my whole family loved him and that he was super sweet and that he's really tall. And that's always been a big deal to me because hills are a big deal to me. So besides the, important Christian things, the vain part of me was like, right, good. I can wear the highest heel and he's still going to be taller than me. So it all worked out.
It's the important things that count, right, Katlyn?
Exactly. No, but in all honesty, the real thing that I was like, okay, he's definitely the one is when I was really sick and he took care of me. And I was like, all right, this is a man you can marry. He prayed over me. He took care of me. I was like, all right, if you can handle me being like this, you're good to go.
And now you guys are going to be parents in about a month or so, which is exciting, right?
Yes, we're excited. It was a big shock.
Really?
It was 2020. I mean, it's full of surprises. I argued with the doctor for at least an hour. So I was like, this is not legitimate test. Like this, what is this? But now we're super excited. I mean, Jeremy's one kid since the day we got married. So 6.5 years later, it's coming to fulfillment.
All right.
Yeah, you have everything together at home. The baby's room is done. The
diapers, wipes.
No, I'm not even done with my registry. So I'm that kind of person who's like, all right, I just keep going. I've had great energy, thank God. So I've been like, all right, we're filming The Christian View. We're doing this. So I've been busy. And then I'm like, oh yeah, this baby's coming. He needs a bed. Mm-hmm. And he needs drawers. So yeah, that's the project next month. That's why I would freak out if the baby came while we were on vacation. We didn't even have a bed, so we gotta get that together.
I'm sure you guys have gotten all kinds of advice from people who are parents and some people who aren't parents probably too. What are some of the things of advice that you've gotten?
Well, thankfully, we both have really great parents. So the thing that I've gotten is, first of all, kids are resilient, which makes me feel better because the humor of this whole thing is that my husband and I have never changed a diaper. So this is going to be a really entertaining experience. If there were reality cameras, probably following us would be one of the most entertaining things.
That would be a fun show.
Yeah, because I've not even babysat. So this is fun.
Wow.
The greatest advice I got is you just love your children. You listen to them. And one of my favorite ones is from Rebecca Keener, who hosts Always More TV. And she used to be on the Christian View. And she said, always, whenever your kid wants to play with you, always stop and play with them. She said, because those moments will go by so fast.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was just like really good advice, because she said the one thing she looks back on is like, there was just a few years where they were like, please play with me. And she was like, I needed to do that. So the attention, the love, and really just being an example to them, and being honest about your failures. Somebody told me that, which I really appreciated. They're like, if you fail, discuss with them. Like, I'm not perfect. God gives me grace. So I thought that was good. It kind of took the pressure off. And then somebody told my husband and I, they're like, all you got to do is keep them alive and fed. So
well, on the very base level, yeah, that would be good.
Alive and fed. They won't remember anything till like 4. Okay.
Yeah. Good point.
Good. I love the advice about, sharing that you're not perfect. I mean, they're going to figure that out eventually anyway, right?
Right.
We're still at the stage, since we have teens still at home, the eye rolling, but and eventually they come around. At least boys do. I don't know about girls, but I think the beauty of that is that as you walk your children through that, when they get out and they go on their own, that when they fail, they're prepared for it, because, obviously life, you're going to have, failures. It's how you walk through it and overcome it. And I think sometimes we put them in a bubble. I know we kind of did that on the first one, put them in a bubble. And then when things go wrong, they're like, well, what's going on? Well, they weren't ready for that. So,
right. And John Maxwell writes a great book called Failing Forward. And I think that you learn from other people's failures. And if you can, clearly I'm an expert parent right now because I've never had a kid. So let me share my wisdom of expertise. But it's to learn from those failures, like you're saying, right? Learn from the failures, but also maybe your kid will avoid some failures if you're open with yours. Yeah,
that's so good. Speaking of John Maxwell, which one of my heroes, there's a book, and it was an early book, and it's called How to Be a People Person. And I needed help. I needed to learn how to be a people person. I was a people person, but I needed some help. And I went and read that book, and I got to say, seriously, that really transformed my life. That is a great book, and I appreciate everything that he's done. He's put great stuff, and you're on that team, which is really cool. What are you doing on that end?
Yeah, so there are different studies that as a John Maxwell team member, we can really focus on. The one that I love the most to study on, like he has his 6 core teachings that we're able to teach from, the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, leadership gold. The one I really love, though, is the 15 invaluable laws of growth, because for me, the thing that transformed my life was when I went on that personal growth journey to make my daily devotional a habit, to make reading a habit. And I really started that journey in 2016. And the transformation of who I was is incredible. I grew more in that time since starting that than the whole 26 years before. And so if I can impart that to people, I believe that creating your daily power hour to grow and invest in yourself is the most powerful thing we can do, because I find that I have more patience with others, but I also, books that I've read years ago, I'm able to pull from that when anybody needs advice or anybody is seeking for anything. And so that is the study that I love to study on. I do workshops workshops, I do coaching for it. But that's the most important thing to me to share, because if we can grow from the inside out, that's how we become truly better people and contribute better in our workplace, in our home, in our churches, wherever we are.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if this is one of the laws or whatever, but I think you are in the process of doing something that's so important for not just for you, but for your family as well. And that's just getting away, relaxing, taking a sabbatical, if you want to call it, but just unplugging and having some time together where you're not surrounded by the daily stuff.
Yes, and it makes a difference when you change your environment to go rest. And we tried a staycation during quarantine, but it didn't work, because you're like, all right, well, I can clean this room, or I can respond to this. So it works so much better when you get away. And that is a value. You have to invest. I'm such a nerd. Like, I brought like a stack of books. I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to finally like unplug and read all these.
Yeah, I do that. I just don't read them. They stay in the suitcase.
But you feel good that you brought them.
But I feel good. Yeah, right.
You know,
it's
still a little scary to me. And I mean, after 15 years, you'd think I'd just say, okay. Dan and I were separated at birth, because I do the same thing. I take all these books and I go, okay, I'm going to read these books. I've been waiting to do this forever. And at the end of the week, I'm like, I didn't even crack it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's crazy. It happens.
I had good intentions, though. That's all that counts, right?
my trick to reading that I always tell people, I used to be a serial, I never finished a book. I would start one and be like, oh, this one looks interesting. So I'd get like 50 pages in this one, and then I'd jump over 25. But I made myself stick to one until I finish it. And I use a sticky note. So I count 20 pages and I put the sticky note at the end of the 20 pages. And then after I'm done with 20 pages, I stop reading. And that's how I've gotten so many books, because I'm like, okay, I can make it to the sticky note.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'm not allowed to go to another one until I'm done.
We're talking with Katlyn Moncrief Bryan, and she is a rock star to us. We had a chance to sit on the panel with her on the last Christian View. Just wrapped up season 6, I think. So maybe can you remember maybe the most I don't know, the episode that sticks out to you? I mean, besides Dan and I know we outshine a lot of them. But
100%, the best looking on the whole panel.
Aww.
What episode, if you will, do you think really stood out to you, that maybe the conversation was just really deep and transformative to folks? Maybe some response. What do you think?
Yeah, so there are a couple episodes that really stick out to me, and I encourage everybody to follow us at The Christian View to stay up to date with all that we have going on. There was one that I thought was really interesting that we covered. One is the power of parenting, which I thought was very relevant. We had a lot of good response on that, because we had a lot of people in different stages of parenting. And so I found that one was very interesting to talk about how to raise your children. The other one that really stuck out to me, we just recorded it and it hasn't come out yet, but I never really see anybody talk about this one. And it was authentic manhood. And as someone who's going to have a son, it really was just striking to talk about this, because you don't realize how much, we really have a society that tries to really go against men. And so I found that to be fascinating, because it was such good content, and also it's not really talked about that much. And so I found that very interesting. And the last one, which I was very nervous about, but we had a great discussion on faith and politics. I thought that I got nervous, because I was like, oh gosh, this is going to be the most stressful one. But it was so refreshing to have a great conversation about, voting for biblical values and discussing, and that people had different viewpoints, but we were able to have a mature conversation. And that's what I really appreciated, because, we kind of shy away and separate the two, but I thought it was beautiful to bring those two together.
So no riots broke out or anything? I mean, that's amazing.
No riots. We only threw our cups at each other just but it was good. There was only one cup of water splashed in somebody's face. But
okay, that's fine.
We're talking with Coach Katlyn Moncrief Bryan. I'd like to keep you for just a few more minutes. I didn't warn Dan, but I would like to keep you for just a few. and talk.
You didn't want to go out to the beach anyway, did you? I mean,
no, it actually is raining. So
okay. Perfect.
There you go.
I'm gonna hang out with y'all. As you could tell, the sun doesn't really agree with me, so the more I stay in, the better.
Gotcha.
All right. So the other folks on the panels, and I know there are times that you have kind of a lot of people on the panel, and then sometimes like Trudy Davis wasn't on with us this time, but she was the last time. She's still a part of the team. Kind of share a little bit about your relationship with them and how something maybe insightful or impactful that they've been able to download to you.
Like the different members on the team.
Yeah.
Honestly, all of our team members are super amazing. This crew we have has been incredible. You know, Trudy Davis, well, first of all, she makes us all look beautiful because she's our stylist. So she's like, you wear this looks good. You don't wear that because that looks ugly. So we really appreciate about her. But you know what? I think that a lot of times people see people from the outside and they say, oh, they've got it all together. But the thing that has been imparted to me at the table has been her strength. You know, Trudy Davis is a breast cancer survivor. She's been through divorce. She's been through so much, and she just keeps going on. You know, we just filmed it, which it'll come out, a Women of Faith episode the same day we were filming with you guys. And she told her story. She had a 30% chance to live. And now she's there, and she always brings so much wisdom to the table. So Trudy Davis is just such respect because she still has stayed strong, and you just never know that she's gone through what she's gone through because she keeps such a positive attitude. Pastor Lee is also someone who has, you know, he was a single dad for a while, raising 2 girls, went through cancer, and he always, the thing that I've learned the most, Pastor Lee is incredible, but the thing that I've learned the most this year is that Pastor Lee, he always discusses, you know, he always has great wisdom. But then I went on his church Facebook page and I'm like, oh my gosh, he preaches. So that's been super fun to be like, Pastor Lee, this whole other side of you. I was talking to him about it at our last tape, and I was like, I just heard you preach. Like, yes, that was amazing. But he has so much wisdom. And he, to me, is like a total meat person. Like, he just is so powerful, but he's not flashy. So I love Pastor Lee. And then Trudy Simmons, our executive producer, who makes it all possible for us. She's incredible. I mean, she has her doctorate. She is a triathlete, like a real one.
Yeah.
Not these little side races.
Yeah.
5Ks. Like, she's incredible. But to know what she has gone through, what she's come out of, and, you know, she could be, you know, so much more. I don't want to say like just caught up in, because she's a big deal. Like, I'm always like, Trudy, you're a big deal.
Yeah.
But she doesn't see herself as a big deal. And I think that that's so refreshing, and the heart that she has. It's not about Trudy on the Christian. It's about really spreading the gospel. And then Sandra, I mean, the girl can sing, always has wisdom, and she is so kind. And so we have just such an incredible, and Aisha is awesome. I mean, her story, going from a single mom to being married, to owning so many businesses, to operating with such grace. I think the thing that gets me with Aisha is that her humility, and she never really shares her story, but she's so inspiring. I'm always like, Aisha, you could write a book and just go to every high school and talk about being a single teen mom and then where you are today. What a vision of what, if you put your life in God's hand, your life can be. And so I'm always just sitting there at the table pinching myself, because I'm like, do I really get to sit at the table with these people? Because what examples they are of great faith and great persistence to become all that God's called you to be. And everybody has such a heart. We're so excited to be part of a ministry that spreads the gospel around the world, even into Pakistan.
Wow.
That is so good. I love that. And, you know, that was all pure. That was all genuine that just came out. It's just amazing. We're talking with Katlyn Moncrief Bryan. We got to take a break here in a second. I think, you know, we've been on twice, and I was really nervous the first time. I was a little nervous the second time, but I really loved the conversations and the laughter that we had beforehand. In fact, I
Yeah.
didn't have to stop. I'm like, oh, we don't have to film today. Let's just hang.
Exactly.
But it was so fun. To me, it was refreshing.
Mhm.
I just, it's just a cool show. Hey, everybody, you need to check it out. Season 6 has wrapped up the filming, but it's still on the WATC
Yes.
channel 57. You can check out their website to find out when. I'm sure it airs multiple times throughout,
Yes.
right?
So if you go to the christianview.tv, you can see we're all over the world, all different streaming services. We're over 26 networks around the world. And I always tell people to make sure you follow our Facebook and Instagram page, because anybody can watch our YouTube channel anytime, and brand new episodes go up every Tuesday on our YouTube channel.
Awesome. Well, you heard it right there. Katlyn Moncrief Bryan. Where's a good place they can follow? Oh, thank you, Dan. Right there.
Right there.
Thank you.
Call it, Dan, the gram? Something on the gram?
At Coach Katlyn on Facebook and on the gram.
On
Do
the-
it for the gram.
Do it for the gram.
All right. We're looking forward to the day, and we want to talk to you afterward. Not right afterward, but we want to talk to you afterward, and we'll be praying for you.
Oh,
And
can we ask what the name's going to be? Are we allowed to ask that?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. So his name is going to be Richard Asher Bryan. Richard is my dad's first name. It means brave leader. And Asher, the blessing of Asher, means blessed and full of joy. So
Oh, I love it.
we're going to call him Asher.
Love it.
love
Yeah.
that. All right. Check out the Christian View, and check out all of Katlyn's places. She is amazing herself. We've got to take a break. We'll be right back. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
This is Faith Talk.